Hi, Dan. How are you today?
Hey, Jordana. We're doing great. It's always nice to see all the audience. I want you to know that both Jordana and I had our COVID vaccination shots today, and hopefully we'll not see COVID, but we encourage all of our guests and friends who are over a certain age to go out and get their COVID vaccination because it's going around and people are coming down with COVID who never suspected they would ever contract or contact the illness. But we watched an interesting Hallmark tonight. What did you think about it?
So, this was not my favorite Hallmark at all.
No.
It was called The Heiress and the Handyman. I knew right away from the title of this one there was something going to be a little bit off about it, I think.
It was rather implausible. The writer had an idea what he or she wanted to convey, but I think that the viewing audience may not have had an idea what they had in mind.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if they were trying to do something, and I don't think you ever watched it, where Paris Hilton and Nikki, it wasn't Nikki, it was Nicole Richie's, and
Yes.
they went off and had to do all these crazy things years ago. Kind of reminds me of taking someone who's an heiress, right, who has lots of fortune.
Lots of money, right.
And then throws her into the country.
Well, because they took away, she lost all her money.
Right,
And
it's the only difference.
Her fortunes disappeared, and so she went from jet setting to having to ride in an Uber, Lord forbid. And then she wound up in a small town, USA, and that's where the love story began. And she raised pigs, and she tried baking pies.
I think the best part was Jillian the pig.
Jillian the pig.
I mean, Jillian the pig was adorable. Makes everybody want to go out and get a pig.
Yes. But I must tell you that last night when we started the show, the Georgia Bulldogs were playing Kentucky. And of course, Georgia Bulldogs were rated #1. And I suspect a lot of people left Hallmark's presentation to watch the football game with Georgia Bulldogs. At least I did. And that's why I got to watch the end of it, the end of the show today.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I did think, the characters, Jodie Sweetin, who we know from
Yes.
Full House, she was
She's
Stephanie.
been a long time actress and had always had great parts.
So she played June, the main character, the heiress, who did end up losing a fortune and have to go live in this small town. We're not going to give you any hints. Somehow always the neighbor, or in this case, she thought he was the handyman, which he wasn't. He was the neighbor. But somehow they're always really good looking in these small towns. It makes anybody who's single to want to go move to a small town.
Right. And the actor...
His name was Corey Sevier, I believe it pronounced.
A French-Canadian. But he played a very good part also. And he was the love interest. And of course, at the end, he got the heroine, the girl.
Yeah.
And that's Hallmark. But I was counting, since a lot of the story left me nothing else to do, the commercials on Hallmark. And they don't come at you one at a time. Hallmark sends you 15 to 16 commercials at a time. And you watch and watch, like, where are these coming from? And it interrupts the storyline. By the time you're finished with the 16th commercial, you forgot what was going on with the story. And it just wasn't once, it was 3 and 4 and 5 times that they hit you with these onslaught of commercials.
And I don't remember it being so many commercials before. It seems like there's more and more commercials each time we watch a Hallmark movie, because I don't remember it being like 7 minutes, 8 minutes of commercials.
It's taking away from the enjoyment. I found that was true yesterday. The other thing is that one of the commercials that Hallmark was telling us about was for their special Hallmark streaming Hallmark Plus. And for $7.99 a month, you can get their finest stories and finest shows. Well, what are we watching on Saturday night if they're going to start charging for the better storylines and the better books that they're presenting? So I have no idea what Hallmark is doing, but I think they need to spiff up their Saturday night presentations.
Yeah, I know Mom was really looking forward to the Chicken Sisters, which is going to be on this streaming, this Hallmark Plus, and I'm interested to see if some of the ones that are going to first premiere maybe on Hallmark Plus, and then maybe a month later they'll bring them to Hallmark. I don't know, because I can't imagine, just like how there's been like the Hallmark mystery and movies. We may have watched a movie there a year ago, and then they're like premiering on Hallmark now. So I wonder if it's going to be something similar to that.
Well, Hallmark's got to, get their game going on Saturday night, because there are wonderful Saturday night football games that are so exciting to watch and will take away all of the attention to Hallmark. I mean, who doesn't want to watch a good Georgia Bulldog football?
I agree with you on that. It's a little, I don't know if it's the same group of fans, but but some of them are, I'd imagine. But I definitely do think there's a lot of good TV on Thursday, on Saturday night when they usually do their premiere. And they haven't been as good as they used to be. This one really didn't hit it for me. The storyline was not something that I felt could really
They had first line actors and actresses, wonderful talent.
And a pig. And they had a pig.
And they had a pig. But the storyline, as you said, left a bit to be desired. It just doesn't make sense. It's not plausible.
Same situation though.
Yes.
Boy meets, something happens, boy meet girl, they fall in love, then there's someone who gets in the middle of it, and then they end up together.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
And they did very well with their rom-coms, but they seem to be losing the battle with quality stories.
They need to find some good books that get this, which we were so excited for this Chicken Sisters, and I know Mom was very disappointed that it's going to be on the Hallmark Plus.
On the Hallmark Plus for $7.99. It sounds like a life insurance commercial, and we're all being taxed by the various streaming corporations. There are so many out there, Hulu and Hulu Plus and Netflix, and by the time we get to see all of these and pay all the monies, it's you might as well go to the movies on Saturday night. It's probably going to be cheaper. Plus, you get popcorn. Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing I wanted to ask about is, and maybe our viewers will be able to share with us in the comments when they subscribe and hit the bell to remind them of the new content, but also please comment. Hallmark, for the first time this year, is doing something called the Hallmark Christmas Experience.
Yes, what is that?
So that is in Kansas City, where I guess Hallmark headquarters is?
Yes, that's right.
So it's in Kansas City, Missouri. They're having from November 29th to December 22nd, they are having a Christmas experience where you can live like you're in a Hallmark movie with like a holiday market. They're going to have a Christmas tree lighting and light show, a Christmas market, and ice skating rink, and all these fun things, which make you feel like you're in a Hallmark movie. You also can meet the stars if you want. They have different stars lined up for different weekends.
That sounds very interesting, but I'm not sure anybody wants to spend winter in Kansas City, Missouri, unless you want barbecue and ribs. That's what Kansas City seems to be noted for. But
I think Hallmark's trying to do like a Christmas market and really bring attention to the city. And I hope this goes well for Kansas City. We are not planning on attending because it's cold. If they were doing it in a warm weather, we'd be there.
However, you may want to go and get tickets to see the Kansas City Chiefs during that time, and you get to see Taylor Swift, because she's spending more time in Kansas City. So that if she wants to go to Kansas City, I think I'll go to Kansas City also.
Well, if there's a game the same weekend that the Hallmark Christmas experiences, that's a perfect way to experience both of the two worlds.
That's right. And by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs won their game against Cincinnati.
It was
Bengals
close.
And tonight, and they were excellent. And our other favorite team, the Indianapolis Fever, won, played beautifully, and are going to be in the playoffs of the women's NBA. So that's a good thing to keep, in focus for the coming winter. But you know what? Today was a beautiful day.
It was gorgeous.
It was in the 80s. The sun was out, not a raindrop, and we're having a prolonged summer. And the weather people predict that October is going to be warm also.
Well, that would be nice.
Yes. So for all our viewers,
we do have next week. So next week is Falling Together. So that will be next Saturday nights. Now this one, it has two really popular Hallmark stars too. It's about feuding neighbors in a condo building, and someone's bringing them all together. So could be interesting.
That is interesting. That's very common to occur.
That's a little bit more down to earth, I think, and something that could happen.
Right. We relate more to that than to the billionaire losing all her money.
So unless you're a billionaire who's lost your money and ended up on a farm, I don't know what you're going to relate to in this.
Anyhow, for all of our friends and family, we wish you a wonderful week to come. We're going to unfortunately see what happened down in Palm Beach, Florida, with the recent events that occurred today.
And then we're going to watch the Emmys tonight.
And watch the Emmys tonight, which should be exciting, and to see what the bear is going to do with his Italian beef sandwiches. But for Jordana and myself, say good night, Jordana.
Good night, everyone, and we will see you next week. And if you like this movie, let us know, because everybody is able to have their opinions, and this was just not our favorite.
No, not maybe next week. We're looking forward to it.
Have a good one, guys.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.